Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn Robert Johnson, and I want you to understand something clearly. This is not just about pain. It's not just about mistakes. This is about transformation because every person listening to this has experienced something that tried to break them emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or personally. Whether that is pain, loss, depression, regret, disappointment, failure, betrayal, fear, trauma, loneliness, or shame. We all have felt this before. See, some people wear suits while suffering. Some people smile while struggling. Some people laugh publicly while quietly falling apart inside. And one thing life taught me is this: just because somebody looks strong on the outside does not mean they are not carrying pain internally. There are people listening to this right now that is carrying an emotional weight nobody else can see. Some people are exhausted from fighting battles silently. Some people are trying to hold families together while secretly feeling broken themselves. Some people are struggling mentally while pretending everything is okay because they feel like nobody would understand anyway. This isn't about judging people. This is about healing people. This is about reminding people that no matter how dark life became, they still have value. Because I learned something during the darkest season of my life. Pain can destroy you, or pain can develop you. Pain can either make you bitter or make you wiser. Pain can either break your spirit or build your character. And many people never realize that the greatest transformations often begin in the darkest seasons of life. Sometimes pain forces people to comfort themselves honestly for the first time. Sometimes suffering reveals strength people never knew they had. Sometimes brokenness becomes the beginning of rebuilding. And I stand before you today as proof that even after darkness, purpose is still possible. Even after mistakes, growth is still possible. Even after failure, rebuilding is still possible. Because your lowest season does not have to become your final chapter. My goal is not simply to tell my story. My goal is to remind somebody listening that their story is not over entirely. I learned early in life that one decision can change everything. One conversation, one moment of anger, one bad environment, one impulsive choice, one unhealthy influence, one emotional reaction. See, sometimes people think life falls apart overnight, but usually destruction happens little by little. Bad decisions become bad habits. Bad habits become unhealthy lifestyles. And unhealthy lifestyles create painful consequences. And before you realize it, you're living a life you never imagined for yourself. I lost 19 years of my life in prison. 19 years. Think about that for a minute. Entire generations changed. Technology changed. People grew older. Children became adults. Families changed. The world continued moving forward. And while the world kept moving, sat with my mistakes. I sat with my regrets. I sat with disappointment. I sat with reality of consequences. And one of the hardest things a person can do is face themselves honestly, because it is easier to blame other people. It is easier to blame environments. It is easier to blame circumstances. But transformation cannot begin until accountability begins. That was the moment my life started changing. The day I stopped blaming everybody else. The day I stopped making excuses. The day I finally looked at myself honestly and accepted responsibility for my choices. Because accountability is painful, but accountability is powerful. Accountability forces growth. Accountability develops maturity. Accountability creates self awareness. You cannot heal from what you refuse to acknowledge. And many people remain emotionally stuck because they spend their lives avoiding truth. Real transformation requires honesty. Sometimes people want a better life without becoming a better version of themselves first. But change starts internally before it ever appears externally. I had to learn discipline. I had to learn emotional control. I had to learn humility. I had to learn patience. I had to learn how to stop thinking like the person who created destruction in my life. And that process was not easy. Growth is uncomfortable. Transformation is uncomfortable. Healing is uncomfortable. But staying broken is painful too. And eventually I realized this. If I wanted a different future, I had to become a different man. And I worked on that every single day. See, people think prison is only bars and cells, but the greatest prison I ever experienced was mental, because some people are physically free but mentally trapped every single day. They are trapped by fear, trapped by insecurity, trapped by trauma, trapped by anxiety, trapped by addiction, trapped by hopelessness, trapped by shame, trapped by anger, trapped by self-hatred. Some people gave up on themselves years ago emotionally, even though they are still alive physically. Got to understand that. Some people stop believing they could become anything greater than their mistakes. And maybe nobody around them even realized it. Mental prisons are dangerous because people can hide them well. A person can smile publicly while suffering privately. A person can appear successful while mentally exhausted. A person can look confident while internally battling depression and hopelessness. I know what it feels like to sit in darkness wondering, can my life still become something? When I was in prison, I know what it feels like to replay mistakes repeatedly in my mind over and over again, to feel regret, to feel guilt, to wonder if your future has already been destroyed by your past. And one thing I learned is this: mental battles are often harder than physical ones, because once a person loses hope internally, they stop believing change is possible externally. But I also learned this: your lowest moment does not have to become your final destination. You can rebuild mentally. You can heal emotionally. You can recover spiritually. You can develop discipline. You can restore purpose. But transformation starts with changing the way you think. The mind controls direction. If a person constantly believes they are worthless, hopeless, or permanently broken, eventually they begin living like that. But when people begin, but when people begin believing growth is possible, healing becomes possible too. I had to stop seeing myself only through my worst mistakes. I had to stop allowing shame to define my identity. And I had to realize that even damaged people can still rebuild meaningful lives, because freedom is not only physical, real freedom begins mentally. And a lot of us stay trapped in our mind, and we are locked up in our mind. And understand, it's not about physically being in prison. Some people are in prison in their minds. So let's talk about pain can produce purpose. One of the greatest lessons I learned is this: pain has the power to either destroy you or prepare you. Some people become bitter, others become better. And eventually I had to make a choice. Would I allow pain to define me, or would I allow pain to develop me? That decision changed everything, because I realized something powerful. Pain becomes dangerous when it has no purpose attached to it. But when pain becomes connected to growth, wisdom, healing, and helping others, transformation begins. That's when I began transforming my pain into purpose. Everything that I survived in that 19 years became something I could use to help somebody else survive. My story became my message. My pain became my platform. My struggle became my testimony. And now I speak openly to the youth, to communities, to universities, to colleges, to churches, to families, to people rebuilding their lives, to people searching for hope, to people silently battling emotional pain because somebody needs to know your life is not over. Somebody needs to know mistakes do not have to become your permanent identity. Somebody needs to know there is still purpose attached to their existence, to their existence. Many people feel ashamed of what they survive, but sometimes the very thing you are ashamed of becomes the thing that helps save somebody else. And this is what I'm trying to do. People connect to authenticity. People connect to honesty. People connect to real transformation. And I realized my experiences were not only for me. Sometimes your struggle becomes preparation for your assignment. Sometimes your pain develops empathy. Sometimes brokenness teaches compassion. Sometimes surviving darkness gives you the ability to help somebody else toward light. That is why purpose matters. Purpose gives pain meaning. Purpose turns survival into impact. Purpose transforms suffering into service. And I believe every person listening has the ability to transform pain into something greater than themselves. You have to use your pain for your purpose in life because sometimes it's not even meant for us. It's not even about us. It's about helping somebody else. One thing that I learned too is never underestimate what somebody else may be carrying silently. Some people are battling anxiety quietly. Some people are battling grief quietly. Some people are battling loneliness quietly. Some people are battling addiction quietly. Some people are battling heartbreak quietly. Some people are carrying financial pressure quietly. Some people are carrying trauma nobody knows about. And the dangerous part of this is many people suffer silently because they feel misunderstood. A lot of us do. That's why compassion matters. Words matter. Encouragement matters. Respect matters because you never truly know how close somebody is to giving up internally. One conversation can save a life. One moment of kindness can change somebody forever. One encouraging word can restore hope to somebody emotionally exhausted. Sometimes people simply need somebody to believe in them again. That's why I created Saving Souls, because I believe people deserve hope. People deserve healing. People deserve purpose. People deserve second chances. Too many people are written off because of their mistakes. But I know personally what it feels like to need another opportunity in life. And I believe transformation should inspire compassion, not condemnation. Everybody is fighting something. And if we learn how to support people instead of only criticizing them, we could change lives in ways we cannot even imagine. That's real. Stop letting your past control your future. Some people spend their entire lives imprisoned by their past, always replaying the same thing, always replaying old mistakes, old failures, old pains, old labels, old guilt, old shame. And eventually, they begin believing they can never become anything greater than what happened before. But hear me clearly when I say this right now. Your past may explain you, but it does not have to but it does not have to define you. Growth requires forgiveness, not just forgiving other people, but forgiving yourself. And I know that is difficult because some people wake up every day ashamed of who they used to be. Some people are still mentally living in seasons that already ended years ago. But transformation starts the moment you decide I will not stay the same. That decision changed my life. I realized I could not rewrite my past, but I could rewrite my future. And every day became another opportunity to become better than I was before. Healing does not erase consequences, but healing does allow people to grow beyond them. Your future still has potential, and nobody should allow yesterday's mistake to permanently destroy tomorrow's possibility. You got to continue to let go of your past. And that was one of the things I did when I was in prison. I wasn't holding on to my past, because if I continue to hold on to my past, then it would have had stopped me to becoming who I am now in the future, and who I'm still striving to be on a daily basis. Too many of us do that. We allow our past mistakes, hold us down when we feel that we're not worthy enough, or that we can't get through it on the other side. Your, your story still have value, man. There are people right now who think their life has no meaning. There are people who believe they failed too badly, people who believe they ruined too much, people who believe they are too damaged to recover. But I came to tell you in this message, your story still matters. Your voice still matters. Your future still matters. And sometimes your greatest purpose is hidden inside your greatest pain. The things you survive may become the very thing that helps somebody else survive. Never underestimate the power of your testimony. People need real stories. People need real hope. People need proof that transformation is possible from somebody that went through what they went through. And when people hear honesty, resilience, healing, and growth, it inspires them to keep fighting too. You may not even realize it, but your survival carries power. Your healing carries influence, and your journey may eventually become somebody else's reason for them not to give up. People want to continue to see other people make it through something that they're struggling with, because then it can help them feel like they can make it through the same thing too. So I want every person listening to remember something. Life will test you. Pain will visit you. Darkness will try to break you. But do not allow your worst moment to become your identity, because healing is possible. Growth is possible. Purpose is possible. Transformation is possible. My name is Shawn Robert Johnson, and if my journey taught me anything, it's this. No matter how broken life becomes, you can still rebuild. No matter how much pain you've experienced, you can still heal. No matter how many mistakes were made, you can still grow. And no matter what you've been through, you still have purpose. Your story is not over, your future is not finished, and your pain does not have to have the final word over your life. Thank y'all for just paying attention to everything that I try to share with y'all. Saving souls is something I created. It's from the heart. Follow me across all of the social media platforms, as you can see. And let's continue saving souls one at a time.